Yo, today I'll be going over why One Piece characters actually scale to FTL and above. I'll start with explaining some of One Piece Lightspeed feats pre-time skip. Let's start with Skypiea, where in an SBS, Oda answered a question where the question was, what if Enel shoots a lightning beam at me? Oda responded with, well, you should duck at light speed. This kind of implying that Enel's lightning is at least light speed because you have to be light speed to dodge it. Therefore, anyone who dodges it would logically be light speed based off of Oda's statement. Here we actually see Luffy kicking away Enel's lightning, meaning that his reaction speed is at bare minimum light speed. However, it's actually stated multiple times throughout the show that Logia users are the element themselves. Enel states that he is lightning himself, Blackbeard states that he is darkness himself, and he also states that Ace is fire himself. So because of this, we can safely deduce that Enel is at least just as fast as his lightning, if not faster. So he would be light speed himself in combat speed, and Luffy skills directly to Enel, of course, because he was able to beat him and fight on par with him. So therefore, Luffy in Skypiea would be at least light speed already. Now on to Long Ring, Long Land, where we have Foxy with his Noro beams. His Noro beams are stated to be photons, and they're also stated to be light, so they're basically light photons, which is backed up by the kanji, which is used for photons, which has light in them. Photons move at light speed in a vacuum, which is around 300 million meters per second, or 299,792,458 meters per second to be precise. Well, Luffy and Foxy aren't actually fighting in a vacuum, they're fighting on the planet, so therefore light slows down just a tiny bit. However, it slows down so little that it actually barely makes a difference. And with barely, I really do mean barely, because it's only 1.0003 times slower inside of the atmosphere than in a vacuum. Meaning it's basically still light speed, slightly slower, but the difference is so minuscule it really doesn't matter that much. Now that we have established that Foxy's Noro beams are basically light speed, we can actually skill Luffy off of it because he dodges them many times, so he should skill to FTL or relativistic plus if you want to say that they're not really light speed. But compared to the Skypiea feats where he already was FTL, we can definitely say that this shows consistency within One Piece, that Luffy in base does definitely skill to light speed and above. Now into probably one of the most contentious point in One Piece speed scaling, and that is the pad cannon. I'll try to explain my best what Kuma's pad cannon is. Kuma's pad cannon is an attack that he uses in Thriller Bark against Zoro at the end of the arc. According to Kuma, the pad cannon deflects air at light speed. At least the word deflect is used in the Viz Media translation, which is of course the one licensed by Shonen Jump. But there are other translations that actually say repel or reflect air at light speed instead of deflect. I found this translation of the original Japanese, which actually says that repel is the most accurate translation from the original Japanese. So therefore I will be rolling with the repel translation because apparently it's more accurate than deflect or reflect. Repel means to force something away from yourself or force something away. So that basically means that Kuma forces away the air at light speed, meaning that the air is in fact going at light speed. That means that the pad cannon is a light speed feat. And we do know for a fact that Zoro scales to the pad cannon. We see it dodging multiple times, so Zoro in that fatigue base definitely does skill to FTL, and that is actually very consistent because Zoro obviously scales very close, if not slightly below Luffy. Being the first mate and all, and obviously always fighting the second strongest, and currently in the manga, spoiler alert, fighting together with Luffy to take down Kaido, and together with Law and Kid also. So I feel like I've proven that FTL One Piece pre-time skip is pretty consistent within the story, but now I'm gonna address the biggest anti-feat that people try to bring up, which is Kizaru. So the basic counter argument that people try to use with Kizaru is that Kizaru has the Glit fruit, which means that he is made out of light, therefore he is only light speed. However, I disagree with that. I do not think that Kizaru is only light speed. Why? Because it's actually stated in Databook Green that you can actually increase the power of your Devil Fruit with training. And Kizaru and his devil fruit would obviously fall under the same rules, saying that it's still just a devil fruit and a devil fruit user, therefore he can train his ability to become to be stronger, therefore his fruit can logically go faster. And I have actual backing to prove that Kizaru actually did go faster than Light in the show itself. So in the scan you see on screen right now, it says that Kizaru is gonna kick Basil Hawkins at light speed. But we see in this panel right here that Basil Hawkins is actually able to react to Kizaru's kick. Meaning that Basil Hawkins' reaction speed is at bare minimum light speed, because he is able to react to the light speed kick. Or let's even lowball, say that his perception speed is at least light speed. So Basil Hawkins, remember, Basil Hawkins has light speed perception. Now here in this panel we see that Hawkins, in one of his stronger forms actually, was not able to even perceive Kizaru move. This means that Kizaru himself was actually able to move faster than the perception of Basil Hawkins, and as I just said, Basil Hawkins' perception was at least light speed, meaning that Kizaru is definitely faster than light speed. To further back this up, we actually have the statement about Rayleigh where it says that he's at least 100 times stronger than you kids, which is referring to the supernovas as Straw Hats, meaning that he is at least 100 times greater than they are, so at least in speed should be 100 times faster as well, so therefore should also be 100 times FTL in perception, bare minimum. Of course, that's not even talking about combat speed or travel speed or reaction speed. This is just perception speed, and we see that Kizaru is actually able to keep up with him, meaning that Kizaru is definitely faster than Light. And even if you want to say that the statement of 100 times greater than the Straw Hats and Supernovas is hyperbole, let's say it's even 2 times or 1.5 times, it still makes him faster than Light, therefore Kizaru scaling to him is also faster than Light. So I feel like I've validly shown that Luffy and the Straw Hats and some of the Supernovas at least scale to FTL pre-time skip, and that Kizaru scales above FTL. So now into the post-time skip. Post-time skip, there aren't as many Lightspeed feats. Post-time skip is mostly where you start actually calculating their speed based off of multipliers and stuff like that. But there is one in Return to Sabaody, one that is most commonly used to show that Luffy is light speed, and that is the one where he dodges the Pacifista beams, and the Pacifista beams are light speed because they are the same as Kizaru's beams, and Kizaru's beams are just light speed. Kizaru himself is faster, but his beams are just light speed. So I've seen the Pacifista beam feat from post time skip be calced in 2 completely separate ways. One that puts him at sub-relativistic, and I've seen one that puts him at 13 times FTL. I'm not going to use any of those calcs. I'm not even going to use the feat itself to prove that Luffy is at least FTL. I'm going to use the statement he says at the end of the page. So at the end of the page, you actually see Luffy say that the Pacifista beams are too slow, and like we previously established, those Pacifista beams are definitely light speed. So what Luffy is basically saying is that light speed is just too slow for him in his current state. This proves that he is definitely faster than those beams themselves, so he's definitely faster than Light himself. And if you're gonna rebut that, say that, oh, that's only observation haki, no it isn't. Observation haki is the ability of precognition. If he truly used his observation haki to see the beam, he would have said too predictable, or he wouldn't have said anything at all. It's the fact that he said too slow, which means that it's actually a measurement of speed, and that the beam was actually just too slow for him. If it actually was observation haki, he would have actually said something like, oh, too predictable, because observation haki does not increase reaction speed, it just allows you to predict what is going to happen. And then we have the last thing I want to get into, just to prove the consistency even more. It is that Niji, Sanji's brother in Whole Cake Island, actually has a light speed attack. His Henry Blazer light speed sword is stated in the data books to be an attack at light speed. And then also in the anime, we actually get a statement from page 1 that Sanji with the raid suit is Lightspeed. However, that's not stated in the manga, but it is actually very consistent because Niji with his raid or with his germ attack was Lightspeed, so Sanji with his could also obviously be Lightspeed, which is very consistent. Also, Sanji scaling to base Luffy who is also Lightspeed is not even that far-fetched, nor is Niji scaling to the base Luffy. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to go over for Luffy and just One Piece in general, scaling to FTL and above. If you have any questions, do leave them down in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like, and if you want to see more in the future, definitely do subscribe, and I hope I'll see you all in the future. Goodbye.